Most people spend 3 years planning a failure. I am going to show you how to launch a success in 48 hours. 90% of aspiring entrepreneurs are losing money right now because they believe the common myth that you need external funding, a complex business plan, and a massive team to start something meaningful. Today, we fix that. The reality is that the traditional venture capital model is a trap designed for the 1% of the 1%. If you are looking for actual freedom, you need to understand the principles inside The 100 Startup by Chris Guillebeau, but you need to view them through a clinical, high-leverage lens. Look, the professional lie you have been told is that business is a high-risk endeavor. It is only high risk if you are inefficient with your capital. If you are spending months writing a document that no one will read, you are not a founder, you are an academic. We are here to talk about the arbitrage of skill and the speed of execution. Think about it. The cost of entry into the global marketplace has effectively dropped to zero. If you cannot turn $100 into 1,000, you will not be able to turn $1 million into 10 million. The math stays the same, only the zeros change. Here is the lever. You do not need more money, you need more utility. The math of the asymmetric bet is simple. You want a situation where your downside is capped at a few $100s and some sweat equity, while your upside is uncapped. In the 2026 market environment, this is achieved through the integration of personal expertise and AI-driven automation. Chris Guillebeau focuses on the convergence of what you are good at and what people are actually willing to pay for, but most people fail to see the scalability here. If you look at the data, the most successful micro-businesses are not selling products, they are selling solutions to expensive problems. The arbitrage exists in the gap between a customer's current pain and their desired state. If you can bridge that gap for $100, you have a business. If you need $1 million to do it, you have a bloated ego. The reality of the 2026 landscape is that generic services are dead. AI has commoditized basic tasks. To survive, your $100 startup must focus on hyper-specialized vertical expertise. If you are not using automated systems to handle your lead generation and customer fulfillment, you are working for your business rather than owning it. But none of this matters if you do not have the stomach to actually execute. That's where the mental game comes in. Most founders failed right here because they are addicted to the feeling of being busy rather than the reality of being profitable. They spend weeks picking a logo or a brand name. That is a waste of your most valuable asset, time. If you think that's aggressive, wait until we hit the 8-minute mark. That's where most people realize they've been playing the game entirely wrong. The strategy here is about finding the convergence point. It is the intersection where your skills meet a market need that is currently underserved. You do not need to be the best in the world. You just need to be more helpful than the next best alternative. In a clinical sense, this is called finding your niche, but I prefer to call it finding your unfair advantage. The leverage comes when you stop trading your hours for dollars and start trading outcomes for dollars. Chris Guillebeau highlights dozens of case studies of people who started with almost nothing. What they all had in common was not a genius-level IQ, it was a refusal to wait for permission. They recognized that the market is the only validator that matters, not your mother, not your friends, and certainly not a bank manager. Here's the catch. Most people treat their side hustle like a hobby. A hobby costs you money. A business pays you money. If you are not obsessed with the ROI of every hour you spend, you are just playing house. We post a new video every Saturday to ensure you stay focused on the protocols that actually drive revenue. By 2026, the traditional 9-to-5 will be viewed as a high-risk liability. Diversification of income streams via micro-startups will be the only path to true middle-class or upper-class stability. The barrier is no longer capital, it is the ability to focus in an age of infinite distraction. Now, let's talk about the protocol of the offer. An offer is not just a description of what you do, it is a transformation. If you tell someone you are a consultant, they see an expense. If you tell them you can increase their conversion rate by 20% using a specific framework, they see an investment.
The difference between a $100 startup that stays small and one that scales to 6 or 7 figures is the ability to productize your knowledge. You must move from custom work to a repeatable system. This is the only way to decouple your income from your time. If you are still watching, it's because you understand that the old rules of business are obsolete. You are looking for the clinical reality of how to build a life of autonomy. We are approaching the most important part of this entire discussion, the golden SOP that separates the dreamers from the high performers. In the middle of this video, we reveal the execution protocol that Chris Guillebeau hints at, but many miss. This is the golden SOP, the 48-hour launch. The reality is that any business idea can be tested in 48 hours for less than $100. If you cannot get a signal of interest in 2 days, the market is telling you no. Here is the step-by-step implementation plan that feels like a $1,000 consulting call. Step 1. The selection. Choose one skill you possess that solves a specific pain point. Do not be broad, be surgical. Step 2. The minimum viable offer. Create a one-page landing page or a simple social media post that outlines exactly what you will do, what the result will be, and how much it costs. Use an automated payment link. Do not build a website, build an offer. Step 3. The traffic test. Spend $50 on targeted ads or reach out directly to 20 potential clients who fit your profile. If no one clicks and no one responds, your offer is weak or your market is non-existent. Pivot immediately. Step 4. The fulfillment loop. Once you get your first customer, over-deliver. Use their feedback to refine the service. This is your research and development phase, and you are being paid for it. Step 5. The automation shift. Use AI tools to automate the repetitive parts of this fulfillment. This is where you move from a freelancer to a business owner. This protocol is not about being cheap, it's about being efficient. It's about reducing the time between an idea and a transaction. That transaction is the only feedback that matters. Everything else is just noise. If you look at the data, the people who succeed are the ones who can fail fast and iterate faster. The $100 startup is not a one-time event. It is a philosophy of lean execution. You are building a portfolio of small bets. Eventually, one of those bets will hit an asymmetric growth curve. That's how you win. Stop overthinking the logistics and start measuring the math of your output. The leverage is in your hands. The capital is in your pocket. The only thing missing is the clinical execution of the plan. Remember, we post a new video every Saturday to give you the leverage you need to exit the system. The protocol is clear. The math is on your side. Execute.